News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by U&I Furniture. An adult male was killed in a two-vehicle crash this morning in Logan after the car he was driving pulled in front of a dump truck. The accident occurred at about 8:40 a.m. at 1800 North, 1000 West. Logan City Assistant Police Chief Jeff Simmons said a green sedan at the intersection of 1800 North attempted to turn south onto 1000 West. A large dump truck was traveling northbound on 1000 West and collided with the car.
All indications are that the vehicle did stop prior to proceeding out onto 10th West, and then that's when the collision occurred. So it sounds like that there was a stop. So.
The driver of the sedan, identified as Adam Rounds of Smithfield, was killed on impact. His investigators are trying to determine whether or not there were other factors in the crash.
The driver of the dump truck did sustain some minor injuries. He was treated at the scene.
Traffic along 1000 West was detoured between 1400 North to 2500 North while officers investigated the crash. Simmons said police officers were assisted by troopers from the Utah Highway Patrol and deputies from the Cache County Sheriff's Office. KBNU News Time is 4:06. KBNU weather for tonight. Heat advisory still in effect until midnight Tuesday night. Mostly clear tonight, low around 60. Sunny, hot again tomorrow, upper 90s with southwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. It's been to 97, which is a new record. 93 was the old record set for the date back in 1974. And it's 96 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Maple Creek Ranch. They're continuing to offer 2.5-acre lots, so visit to see what their equestrian community has to offer. Schedule your appointment online at maplecreekranch.net.
U&I Furniture just acquired an entire showroom of furniture from the Las Vegas Furniture Market. Best Furniture, an American-made furniture company, delivered to U&I sectionals, sofas, recliners, lift chairs, accent chairs, ottomans, benches, and a whole lot more. These are one-time deals that will not be repeated, so shop early for the best selection. It really is just another reason that you'll always find a better buy at U&I Furniture. U&I Furniture, 28 West 1st North in downtown Logan.
KBNU News Time is 4:07. The process to create a new state flag, which will include opportunities for every Utahn to have input on the symbolism and design, begins this Wednesday with the first meeting of the State Flag Task Force at the Utah State Capitol. According to a press release, the task force will initially be chaired by Governor Spencer Cox. Other members of the task force include Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, members of Utah's Senate and House, and Jill Love, the Executive Director of the Department of Cultural and Community Engagement. Governor Cox said Utah's flag should symbolize the state's values and ambitions. He expressed hope that they can design a new state flag that better represents both the state's past and the future, and that reflects what makes Utah such a unique place. The task force was created through legislation passed during the 2021 general session, sponsored by Senator Dan McKay and Representative Stephen Handy. A core principle of the task force is to give every Utahn the opportunity to shape the principles and symbolism of the new flag. That public engagement is important to ensure a dynamic new state flag. And doctors who work in Arizona and Nevada burn centers are warning of injuries from contact with superheated roadways and other surfaces as the first extreme heat wave of the year makes its way across the U.S. West. A high-pressure system is expected to push temperatures above 115 degrees this week in Las Vegas and Phoenix, but heat warnings stretch from California's central and inland valleys to as far north as Montana and Wyoming, where predicted highs of 109 degrees on Tuesday are expected to shatter records. Those northern states should see relief by midweek. National Weather Service excessive heat warnings last through the weekend for Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and parts of California. KBNU News Time is 4:09. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Adams Wealth Advisors have helped thousands of people create financial peace of mind. Understanding your family, job, hobbies, and goals is how Adams Wealth Advisors earn the long-term trust of the individuals they proudly serve.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we're here to help you receive peace of mind, whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. That's AdamsWealthAdvisors.com to schedule a time with an advisor today.
You've been putting up with a dirty, dusty wood stove for years. Why haven't you changed it? Go to Advanced Fireplace and Stove in Logan. Look through their showroom for ideas on Quadra-Fire pellet and wood stoves and Heat and Glow gas fireplaces. They have several demos in place so you can see firsthand how your project will look. And you can trust the pros at Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They'll do the job right. Advanced Fireplace and Stove. 752-7272. Online at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News, the latest on President Biden's visit to Europe, plus his prep for the highly anticipated meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Also, the number of us leaving current jobs for new opportunities is at its highest level in more than 2 decades. Hear what's driving us, and the latest COVID shortage to leave us scrambling. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cash Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have 2 guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is a beautiful Monday afternoon, and it has very much been a Monday for a lot of us, I know, but we've got some positive things to talk about on the show today. Some good news here in Utah, as long as we're not talking about water and the drought. The news is good. We'll get to that in just a bit, and kicking things off here today with a very special guest with some good news for not only North Logan residents, but everyone in the Valley, really. Joining us right now from North Logan City, we have North Logan City Mayor Damon Cann joining us to talk about a specific event coming up Wednesday, the 23rd of June. North Logan City is hosting a grand opening of something that I think is long overdue here in Cache Valley. I won't spoil it myself. Mayor will let you make the announcement, but appreciate you joining us here on KVNU to do so.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me, Jason.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and it's always exciting with North Logan City. Honestly, it seems that when it comes to North Logan for the last couple of years, there always seems to be something going on, some kind of announcement, grand opening. I love what you guys have done there with some road realignment and widening there, giving everybody an alternate route from Main Street even to get around not just North Logan, but the Valley in general. It's a busy city.
Yeah, we've had tremendous growth in the city over the last decade and even longer than that. And, there are some pains that come with being a growing city, but one of the cool things is that we get to envision the kind of community that we want to be, and we get to evaluate ways that we can build this place that we love, that we are hopefully consistent with our history and our past, but also give us a bridge to the future. And so we try to be a city that provides our residents and even folks from around the valley with some opportunities for fun and recreation, and just to really build a connection to this place so that people can love their city and love where they live.
Sure. And part of that is addressing needs and wants of residents, of course. And this event coming up Wednesday, June 23rd, North Logan has responded to a very specific community need, a demand even, an opportunity to bring something As far as I know, this is a first in Cache Valley, right?
Yes. So to formally announce to your listeners, we're excited to announce the grand opening of a BMX bicycle track and an accompanying pump track that will be available and open for the broader community to make use of for years into the future. And it is, Logan has a cool kind of mountain bike park type feature that they opened just in the last couple of years, and that's been a fun and heavily used feature. And so because cycling of all types is really popular in Cache Valley, we are really excited to be able to add another cycling feature to the portfolio of outdoor recreation options in Cache Valley.
Sure.
So it's located just off of 2500 North, near Elk Ridge Park, on some land that the city has previously just kind of left unused. We kind of had gathered some limbs from the big windstorms we've had there, and we have our green waste bins there. But as we looked, we said, there's really an opportunity here to take this space and turn it into a place where people can go to recreate, to improve their fitness, and to just have some fun as they gather and ride out on this track.
And this is, you mentioned recreation. This is part of a growing portfolio in Cache Valley at large of opportunities for people to get out. But I have to assume this is very exciting news for the younger crowd here in Cache Valley and in North Logan City. Sometimes I even am very aware of how few options we often give to younger people. But here's something right here in Logan City, grand opening on the 23rd, or North Logan City, a grand opening on the 23rd, that's just almost begging the younger crowd to get out and enjoy it, right?
Yes. So, I mean, we had it roughed in. It's been roughed in and constructed and just gradually, even though we haven't had the grand opening yet, we've had a few people start peeking over and seeing what's happening and coming over to ride a little bit. And I went by the other night, and there were probably 10 kids who were just on their little bikes, most of them even under the age of 10, and just riding around and having a great time. It's constructed by cycling professionals who know the right kinds of angles for the banks and the turns, and the steepness of the slopes and the bumps. And honestly, there's people of any skill level can go out and have a really good time riding on these features, from the pump track, which is a little bit smaller. And I've seen kids who some of them may not have been older than 5 or 6 years old, out there riding their bikes around on it. And then on the larger BMX track, I do not recommend this. I did see a young person going down it on a bike with training wheels, and I just looked like it was a little bit risky. That's not the recommended use of the track. But and then the other thing, even up into teenagers and adults, it's a really neat track because of the flexibility that comes with it. We could go out there and have a race of 5, 6 people at a time out there on BMX bikes and have a good time going around it. But I've also seen a lot of people out there on mountain bikes using it kind of like a mountain bike type course. And instead of just riding the humps, they may try to get a little bit of air coming off of a spot or two. And so there's just really a wide range of ways that the course can be used. We can have races, we can program to it, and then there's just lots of time for folks to be able to go out and use it. There's another community, I won't, not in Cache Valley, and I won't call them out by name, but I went to a city complex in this other community, and they had this fantastic BMX track, and there was a big giant fence all the way around it. And it only gets used a few times a year when they decide to have races. And one of the cool things that we have going, I think, for our facility here in North Logan is that we want people to come out and ride. We want them to come and use it.
Sure.
And what we've seen so far, even though we haven't declared the official opening, what we've seen so far is it's hard to go past there at any time between 9 in the morning and 8 at night and not find someone out there already riding it and having a good time making use of this facility.
And that's what it's all about, really. This is also kind of an ongoing, maybe master plan is too specific of a term, but I know, speaking with you and others at the city over the years, this isn't some random thing that an opportunity popped up and you ran with it. This is a plan, right, within North Logan City to expand these opportunities?
Yes, so we have a parks master plan, and then from time to time we conduct surveys as a city of our residents, and try to reach out and find out the features that people would like to see. So we've been talking about doing a bike feature on this piece of ground for a few years.
Sure.
And it was really just over the last probably 9 months or so that we were able to kind of zone and focus in and say, all right, this is the next feature that we're going to add. But in the months and years ahead, we anticipate adding some pickleball facilities at the Cache Recreation Complex in Meadowview Park down near Green Canyon High School. And we're excited to be able to add that feature here soon to our parks portfolio. We've added 2 splash pads over the last decade to different parks so that we can provide that service. And just really want to do that. There's a group called Get Healthy Utah, associated with the Utah League of Cities and Towns and a number of other organizations around the state. And they created a recognition called the Utah Healthy Community Award, and invited communities that care about outdoor recreation and fitness and wellness to send in information about what they're doing and what they're working on. And this last spring, North Logan City was recognized as just one of 11 communities in the state of Utah to receive the Healthy Utah Community designation. And we're really proud of that because getting outside and to gather together, to recreate, and to do something good for ourselves and for our health and wellness is something that I think the residents of North Logan City really care about and value.
It's very nice to hear, and always great to hear a city being responsive in this way when possible. I mean, obviously, can't meet everyone's needs, and I'm still asking my city for things that I know they can't afford. But when there is an opportunity to see a city jump on the opportunity and make it happen, and you mentioned Mayor Cann early in the our time here, you mentioned growth in North Logan, and that there's been near record-setting growth for Cache Valley, at least in North Logan, and you mentioned this does come with challenges, right? Where to put everyone, how to design the city in a master plan concept that makes it easy to walk about, drive about, all of that. But this is getting to a specific part of that, making sure people have things to do so they're not leaving the city to spend money, right?
Exactly. One of the things that I love about this park, Elk Ridge is centrally located for North Logan, and I would guess that probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 75% of residents would live within a mile to a mile and a half of this facility, which is a great distance because it's a distance that a lot of kids would ride their bikes to school and things like that. So it's even located in a way that that North Logan residents at least can just hop on their bike and say, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, I'm going to go down and ride for a little while and not have that far to go, be able to ride it and then just ride their bikes right home and make for easy recreation. And I know we're going to be able to attract people to come in from outside the community as well. We have North Logan residents that go ride the Bridger Bike Park in Logan, and I'm sure we're going to have Logan residents that come over and Hyde Park residents and people from all over that come and take advantage of this course. But it is really nice for us, and we want to keep. There's a lot of research that shows when people have a tie to the place where they live, they have residential neighborhood attachment or community attachment, that it actually does all kinds of things for the quality of the community. It discourages people from engaging in vandalism or other criminal activities in their community because they love their place. It discourages, interestingly enough, substance abuse and a variety of other issues because they have ties to place and to people in those places, and they want to keep up, and they're more mindful of their actions, activities, and behaviors. And these kinds of things may, in some ways, some people may think of them as non-essential items or simply as amenities. But for my part, I view them as essential parts of community building that make our city and our valley a great place to live, that people have ties to, and that it makes them want to love and care about their place, about their neighbors, and about themselves in ways that we don't see in communities that don't offer these kinds of opportunities.
Sure. This is, for those who say, we need to keep Cache Valley, sometimes something new like this is exactly the way to do it, giving the community an excuse, if you will, to get out and group together in many different ways, regardless of a family or an individual's preference. And again, for listeners, the exciting news in North Logan City is a grand opening on Wednesday, June 23rd, of a new BMX track, the first in Cache Valley. A lot of people are excited about this, and I know not all of them from North Logan City, but this is a city to watch. The growth, the planning, and the taking advantage of these opportunities to make it a vibrant community. And Mayor Cann, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. I do have one last question for you, though. I know that outside of all of this, the city has to run. Bills have to be paid, all of that. And North Logan also has put a lot of effort into making sure business owners know you're open for business. You've got places they can locate. How are things going on that front?
Yeah, thank you for asking about that, Jason. We're very excited, and North Logan has always prioritized and cared about our business community. And a part of that effort is outreach to bring businesses in to the community and add to our portfolio of places where our residents and folks from across the valley can shop and recreate and buy the things that they need to. As you may know, we're very excited to have Cal Ranch coming into the old Kmart building. That's a facility that came empty several years ago as Kmart was going through some struggles nationally. And so we're really excited to have Cal Ranch coming in. They will be using, I think it's about 2/3 of the space in that building. And they are reaching out to the business community, not just in Cache Valley, but very broadly, to identify a partner that can come in. So I not only were excited to have Cal Ranch opening probably, I think next month. They're targeting a July opening. We're excited that they're working with several prospective businesses. And unfortunately, I'll just have to ask you to, ironically, I guess, to ask the radio guy to stay tuned and see what comes in on that front. But I think it won't be a terribly long time before the traffic that comes through to engage with Cal Ranch and to shop there is going to drive more cars out to that area of the community and make it much easier and viable to fill some of those vacant spaces, including the remainder of the Kmart building. And we're also hopeful that they may even be able to attract a few businesses to locate as kind of pad sites out on the frontage of Main Street there in front of the facility that will house Cal Ranch there. And then on top of that, the other part of our business strategy isn't just to bring in new businesses, but we always like to try to reach out and contact the businesses that are already a part of the North Logan community and make sure they're growing and that they're well supported, and that they have the things they need from the city, and so that we're able to help them to be successful and to continue to thrive as well.
Exciting to see all this happening and to see all this movement around the valley and in North Logan City as we continue to grow. As Mayor Cann has mentioned here, the challenges are going to be great, but North Logan showing that it can be done with some planning, with some looking ahead. You can actually make this play out in a way that does retain Cache Valley while accepting all these new families into our communities at the same time. Our guest again has been North Logan City Mayor Damon Cann. And Mayor Cann, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. And I might not be out there on the bike myself. I might be a little old for that, but I'm definitely going to go see the crowds and see some of the skilled riders this new BMX track attracts.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. We'd be glad to see you there, Jason. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, thank you for taking the time. Always a pleasure. And for listeners, you haven't heard the last. We'll be checking in with North Logan again soon. There's a lot happening there in North Logan City. I've linked to their website, by the way, on our Facebook page if you'd like to see some of these announcements and the city newsletter. And we'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
The trained soldiers of the Army National Guard are a new generation of leaders called to proudly and selflessly serve our nation and make a difference in the communities we call home. Do you want to make a difference? During our Hiring Days event, May 10th to June 14th, we're looking for highly motivated candidates for part-time careers in the Army National Guard. You'll experience the personal fulfillment of serving your community right in your home state during emergencies and natural disasters, while learning skills valued in civilian careers like leadership, problem solving, and strategic thinking. And when you serve in the Guard part-time, you can work or attend college full-time while you earn a paycheck, gain career skills, and enjoy great benefits like low-cost health coverage for you and your family. Learn more about serving part-time in the Army National Guard by visiting nationalguard.com/hiring days today.
Sponsored by the Utah Army National Guard, aired by the Utah Broadcasters Association and this station.
Want to cut your cooling costs this summer and save money? Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning to schedule a free evaluation of your system and get their preseason special. With a highly efficient York air conditioning system, you can save up to 50% in energy costs while enjoying more consistent temperatures throughout your home. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272 or stop by our showroom west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
With so much financial uncertainty, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, your Edward Jones financial advisor can help you prepare for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Edward Jones office. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Buck Sexton. Consensus is not science. Everyone who actually thinks through this themselves and doesn't just allow their brains to be molded by being stuck at home, being on the social media all the time. The panic porn on cable news channels in general was mind-blowing.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, inspired by Rush. Debuting June 21st.
Weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, the voice of Northern Utah.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Thanks again to North Logan City Mayor Damon Cann for joining us today, spending quite some time with us out of his afternoon to give us an update on North Logan City. It's exciting to see this stuff happening. I know for many folks out there, maybe a BMX track isn't your thing, but for many folks, and especially many families with maybe teens, it will be. And this is something that you're seeing a lot of in Cache Valley, where these opportunities are popping up for cities and they're capitalizing on them to utilize space in a creative way. But I really want to stress this again before we completely move on from this topic. We talk a lot. You hear the phrase a lot. We need to keep Cache Valley, Cache Valley. And to some, I'm afraid that means nothing changes. We don't do anything different with, this piece of city land or this location within a downtown. I think for a lot of people, that's exactly what Keep Cache Valley means. But for me, if you step back and think about what makes Cache Valley, growing up here, it was the opportunity to get out with your neighbors, the opportunity, as a kid to be able to go play or ride bikes with, every other kid in the neighborhood. What changes is, maybe there's less open space to go do that in. Maybe people are less comfortable letting their kids just roam the streets on their bikes all day, as many of us did every summer, way too long ago to mention. So those things change. But what can adapt is our approach to this same idea of, community, of giving people an opportunity to get out and be a community while recreating, while being active, while just enjoying the sunset, whatever it might be. And we need to get creative about those things. And that's going to mean change. So I'm excited to see this stuff happening in North Logan City. It's happening all around the valley. It's definitely happening in Logan City. It's, I think, a good sign. It's a far better sign, even for those who maybe are resisting the change a little bit, than just letting all of the planning happen to us rather than planning it ourselves. So hats off to North Logan City on that front. The grand opening again for this BMX track is Wednesday, June 23rd, day-long event, open to the public. You don't have to be a North Logan resident. And as Mayor Cann joked, maybe you even see the North Logan mayor out there on a BMX bike, or maybe not. We'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:37, and this look at the news is brought to you by Cache Valley Pharmacy. A committee is recommending Dixie State University change its name to Utah Polytechnic State University. Now, this came today from a committee tasked with considering removal of the term associated with the Deep South and slavery. The recommendation also includes a suggested nickname, Utah Tech. Calls to change the name gained steam after a national outcry against racial injustice sparked by the death of George Floyd. But the process has also faced backlash from those who say it's a historical local nickname separate from the history of slavery. Leaders from the university, state, and legislature will now weigh the suggested name. Leaders from the NAACP and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are unveiling $9.25 million in new educational and humanitarian projects as they seek to build on an alliance formed in 2018. Church President Russell M. Nelson said at a news conference today that projects include college scholarships, a fellowship to Ghana, and humanitarian aid for underprivileged areas of the United States. The partnership is part of the religion's efforts to improve race relations. Until 1978, the church had a ban on black men in its lay priesthood. And a wildfire sparked by an abandoned campfire is forcing evacuations south of Moab. KTVX reports the evacuations are mandatory for all private property on the east side of Geyser Pass. They were ordered after the fire fire breached a road. 4 primary buildings and 6 secondary structures have been destroyed in the Pack Creek area. 5 primary structures were damaged by the blaze that's now scorched 8 square miles. The fire is burning through grass, brush, and timber. The terrain is rugged with steep canyons and basins. KVNU News Time is 4:39.
This is Phil with Cache Valley Pharmacy. We love being in Cache Valley and want to thank you for your support. Cache Valley Pharmacy features the best prices in the valley, and as always, free delivery. If you're in the market for prescriptions, check first with Cache Valley Pharmacy for the absolute best prices, especially on compounds and insulin. We've been doing pharmacy better than anyone else in the valley with free delivery valley-wide for the last 19 years. Cache Valley Pharmacy, the pharmacy delivery experts. Order your prescriptions online at cachevalleypharmacy.com.
KVNU weather tonight. We still have the heat advisory in effect until midnight Tuesday night. Mostly clear, and the overnight low around 60. Sunny, very hot again tomorrow. Upper 90s with southwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour in the afternoon. It's been to 97, which is a new record set for the date. 93 was set back in 1974 for June 14th. Right now it's 96 at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Chim Chimney in Logan and Brigham, offering an array of units from Fireplace Extraordinaire, including the highest heat output options. Find them at chimchimney.com. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Amanda Boydston bringing you the daily financial market report on behalf of financial advisor Clayton McMurdy and Edward Jones. All eyes are on the Fed meeting this Wednesday, with Chairman Powell's press conference likely to set the tone for the market this week. We think that the Fed will begin the process of tapering its bond purchases and in the not-too-distant future, and will be the driving force for stocks and bonds market moves ahead. Investors will pay particular attention to Wednesday's comments for any signals on how Fed officials are evaluating the recent jump in inflation and the influence that's having on the taper timeline. The Dow closed down 85 points at 34,394. The Nasdaq closed up 105 points at 14,174. S&P closed up 8 points at 4,255. In the commodity market, the price of oil was up 11 cents at $71.02, and the price of gold was down $12 at $1,867.60. In stocks of local interest, Apple was up $3.13 at $130.48. Autoliv was down $1.66 at $103.85. Campbell's was down 29 cents at $45.82. General Electric was down 22 cents at $13.47. Home Depot was down $1.45 at $309.32. Lowe's was down $1.15 at $189.66. Nucor was down $3.88 at $102.71. Procter & Gamble was up 5 cents at $134.91. R.R. Donnelley was down 67 cents at $6.39. Thermo Fisher was down $5.18 at $470.07. Wells Fargo was down 53 cents at $45.15. Walmart was down 19 cents at $140.56. And Zions was down $1.25 at $54.02. This has been today's financial market report, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and Clayton McMurdy, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 1309 North Main in Logan. If you'd like additional information, please contact our office at 435-753-0537.
A building is just a building until it's your building. It's where you work, where you create, and where you store your valuable equipment. You take pride in your building, so make sure it's built right and built to last. Northern Steel Buildings will guide you from concept to construction. For your commercial, agricultural, or industrial steel building, visit northernsteelbuilding.com to see their quality work, or call 435-677-7300. Northern Steel Buildings. Value from concept to construction.
As the summer's war against weeds and pests rages on, a new bug threat starts hopping around, destroying garden plants and flowers. Luckily, you are ready for them with Logan Extermination's Perimeter Grasshopper Control. It's like a minefield for the minute menace.
Good job, men. Another bug bites the dirt. Let's regroup before the next wave hits.
They do what they are trained to do. Strike terror into termites, bash the bed bugs, and cook the cockroaches. Remember the brave men and women at Logan Extermination. Call 752-8450.
Prices start at only $65.
If you live in the south end of the valley, no doubt you've noticed the historical Hiram Granary taking an important role in our new Cache Valley Bank location. I'm Catherine Buse, branch manager. Keeping in touch with our history while looking to the future is part of Cache Valley Bank's mission. Hiram is Cache Valley Bank's 7th location in the valley. Join us for food and giveaways as we celebrate our Hiram branch grand opening June 26th. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
This is for those who always show they care, who told their kids everyone 12 and older is eligible for a COVID vaccine. Those who explain to their cousins that vaccines prevent nearly 100% of hospitalizations and deaths from COVID-19. This is for the ones protecting those they love. Thank you.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Vehicle accidents are stressful enough. You don't need someone showing up at the scene trying to pressure you into letting them tow away your vehicle. Call your roadside assistance provider or insurance company for towing company suggestions, or consult with police on the scene. And always have the price and terms in writing before you let them hook it up. If you suspect fraud, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB or visit www.nicb.org. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. By listener request here, revisiting one of our interviews from recent days, one that, well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect to be doing myself, but how could I not once the opportunity popped up, or rather once the idea was put in my head. The idea was put in my head by an article at the Utah Commerce website, utah.gov. Click on Commerce there. They spotlight businesses from around the state, and they were spotlighting a business in Brigham City that I didn't know was in Brigham City, and also I had no idea how complicated and specific and creative this line of work could be. So for listeners out there who were curious and mentioned they'd missed this, a reminder, we do have a podcast again, and it is available on our website at kvnutalk.com in the on-demand section. There is a playable podcast there, and also links to where you can subscribe through your podcast listening app of choice and get all of our interviews. But for those who aren't able to do that and who missed the interview, some highlights from our time with technical customer service representative and involuntary that day spokesperson for Brigham City's Storm Bowling, helping us answer a question of how do you make a bowling ball?
We have been around since the mid-'80s. We're the world's largest manufacturer of bowling balls and one of the state's largest exporter of goods, period. So we've been doing pretty well in the bowling industry for quite some time now.
That is very cool. And again, for many of our listeners, it might be a surprise to find out that you're located right there in Brigham City. Kind of a low-key on the local end, but not low-key on the international and national stages.
No, not at all.
This is tell us a bit about the company. Why Brigham City, and how did things get started there at Storm Bowling?
Sure, yeah. So Storm started back in 1985. Bill Chrisman, he's from the northern Utah area in Ogden, and he started making bowling ball cleaner for balls. That's how the company started. Started as High Score Products. In 91, he decided that he can make a bowling ball, so that's when we started pouring our own bowling balls. Interesting fact, we actually started mixing it, because bowling balls start out as a liquid. They're a Part A and a Part B polyurethane. They get mixed together. Now we have big tanks that mix these together, but back in the day, in 91, we used KFC buckets to mix our very first bowling balls.
Wow.
Poured them into molds.
That is very cool. This is, I know that, in this industry there are some trade secrets that can't be revealed, some special mixes and things like that. But it seems to me, looking through, if a listener out there were to do this themselves, if you just Google Storm Bowling, you'll find no shortage of articles referencing some uniqueness to the product you guys make. What is it, again, without revealing any of those corporate secrets, what is it that makes a Storm Bowling ball unique?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So all bowling balls are a mixture of a polyurethane, so you're thinking kind of like almost like what a boat would be made out of, like fiberglass, epoxy that goes over fiberglass, the liquid that turns hard and ends up just being like a hard plastic. Now, what makes Storm bowling balls unique is some of the additives that we put in this polyurethane to make it hook down lane. The density of material inside the middle of the ball, it's in unique shapes to make the ball hook down lane even more, which is a whole lot of physics that's way over the top of my head. I only grasp the surface of it. So just know that there is an object in the middle of the ball, and you can see these on our website. the shapes of them. They're made of a denser material than the outside of the ball, and with the gravity of the earth, they make the ball turn more than your normal house ball will. Probably the most interesting thing about storm balls that separate us from the rest of the bowling ball world is our balls are the only ones with fragrances in them. So we have anything from cherry to orange, vanilla, maple syrup. So if you come into the plant, we do offer tours. We'd love to show you all this stuff. First thing you're going to notice when you walk in is how it smells inside of our office.
That's very cool. This is it's obvious as well, looking through, again, a Google search of news stories, but some of the information at the website as well, stormbowling.com, for listeners who'd like to check that out. The storm bowling, the balls themselves seem to be very popular with professional the competitors, with tournament athletes and more. But it also appears that storm bowling has a focus on fostering youth in this sport, with supporting competitions, with sponsoring different leagues and things like that, and building things up. That's a very unique thing, because this is a very vibrant community out there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's our number one goal, like in our mission statement, is to grow the sport. The sport does better, we do better. So we cater to everybody from the very best elite athletes in the bowling world, Jason Belmonte being one of them. He's probably the most famous and won the most major titles, down to the youth that are going to be the future of the sport. We host several high-level youth tournaments. We make balls for the new bowler, the entry-level bowler. So, yeah, we've got a wide range of interests to help grow the sport as best as we can.
This is bowling for most of us is something that we go out and do once in a while. We never do it enough to get good at. But if you've ever seen video of some of these professional bowlers, it's an art. It's amazing. And I'm really enjoying this, Chetan. There's actually a hashtag. I'm seeing this used on Instagram, Twitter, even a YouTube video or two. And the hashtag is Storm Nation Turbo Grips. Two different hashtags. Sorry, there's Storm Nation one, Turbo Grips the other. Tell us about that if you can. This is getting a lot of attention here.
Yeah. So the hashtag Storm Nation, you see that in all of our marketing. That's what we look at. If you post something on social media and you want to get our attention, hashtag Storm Nation is the way to do it. It's really our fan base. We've created this really great fan base that supports our youth and our movements that we try to grow the sport with. Hashtag Turbo Grips is a separate company. Turbo Grips make inserts that go for your fingers in bowling balls, fingers and thumb. But the hashtag Storm Nation, if you see any of our professional athletes post something, it always starts with the hashtag Storm Nation, so we can let all of our Storm fans know what we've got going.
And this is a field where, I assume you always have to stay competitive, coming up with new things. What's the average R&D brainstorming meeting like there at Storm Bowling?
Oh man, that's probably one of the more interesting portions to our day, when we get to discuss the new technology that we've got cooking up down in our labs. That's kind of where our trade secrets start. But there's a lot of 3D CAD work that goes into designing the weight blocks that go inside the balls. That's probably where the most physics takes place, is how an object rotates in space. So we have engineers here that design these objects, how they get affected by drilling holes in the balls, and then how they behave when you apply rotational torque to them, and as they go down the lane and slow down to the friction on the lane and the gravity that we live with every day. So really interesting stuff, a ton of physics that goes into making a weight block inside the bowling ball. And we've got these 3D images of the current weight blocks that we use in our balls on our website. You can rotate them so you can see all the different sides. It's really interesting to see how each one of those unique shapes and unique densities makes the ball do different things down lane.
That was, again, Chetan Peterson, a technical customer service representative at Storm Bowling, located in Brigham City, Utah, getting some recognition from Utah's Commerce Department for decades of operation and employment of many people in Brigham City, but also recognition from the professional leagues, bowling leagues, calling this one of the top, Storm Bowling balls, one of the top choices for professional athletes. If you'd like to know more about the sport itself, there are some great links I've posted on our Facebook page to the literal art of being good at bowling. You wouldn't think it, but it is an art. and also take a tour. Chayton told us as we spoke that they do offer tours of the Storm Bowling facility and manufacturing site there in Brigham City. You can email tech, T-E-C-H, tech at stormbowling.com and schedule a tour and even meet some of their retired professional bowlers that are now working in research and development there at Storm Bowling in Brigham City, right in our own backyard. Did you have any idea? Also, check out their website. They have this really cool 3D animation of the bowling ball itself and how it's designed, why it's designed the way it is. And you can tweak little things, and it'll show you what it would change in your role, as they say, on the lane. In the lane? I don't know. Thanks again to Chayton Peterson for his time. Stormbowling.com, their website. On the other side, or rather coming up later on in the show, USU planning a very big Juneteenth celebration this week. We'll talk about what exactly you can expect and how you can attend right after this.
Hi, this is Dr. Monty Carlson from Hyde Park Dental. I have some very exciting news. Dr. Brad Bills and I are going to partner to help make Hyde Park Dental one of the premier dental practices in Cache Valley. Dr. Bills will bring his experience in many areas to Hyde Park Dental. He loves treating children and provides comfortable, pain-free dentistry to everybody. I'm thrilled to have Dr. Bills at Hyde Park Dental. I know you will come to love and appreciate him as I do.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Bills. I am as excited as Dr. Carlson to be joining forces. Like Dr. Carlson, I have practiced dentistry for over 30 years in the Valley and love helping my patients be healthy and have fantastic smiles. I also love being able to offer laser dentistry. Treatment with a laser is fast, pain-free, and often eliminates the need for a shot and no numb mouth. The excellent care you have received through Dr. Carlson and myself will continue with even more fantastic services and care. Call us today at Hyde Park Dental to schedule an appointment. Dr. Carlson and I are excited to see you.
Meet me downtown. Meet me in downtown Logan.
This is Mike Miller with Cache Valley Bank. We love supporting local businesses and are proud to support the new Center Street Market in downtown Logan every Wednesday during the summer. The market opens at 8 a.m. and all of the merchants will be local businesses from right here in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank invites everyone to the Center Street Market in downtown Logan. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Meet me downtown. Meet me in downtown Logan.
He's cared and watched out for you your entire life. Even taught you how to catch a fish and swing a bat. But now that he's in his senior years, it's your turn to care for Dad. Giving your aging loved one the attention he or she needs can be challenging, which is why there's Legacy House of Logan. From bathing and dressing to help with medicine, cooking, and housekeeping, Legacy House of Logan is your extra set of hands with an extra gentle touch on 1400 North in Logan and online at legacylogan.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
That is hour one in the can, as they say. Hour two coming up in just a few minutes. We'll be talking about USU's big Juneteenth celebration planned for this week. Also, how you can be a part of preserving history in northern Utah, from Box Elder County to the Bear Lake Valley. This is an ongoing and broad effort to save some of the last remaining interesting historical sites that are in the form of homes and even farms. Also, an opportunity for you to contribute anything from your own family history to these areas. Talk about how you can get involved, why you should get involved, and more, especially as the population grows here in northern Utah. The demand for space is already ramping up, and it's going to ramp up even more. So how do we decide which, and also how do you go about protecting those sites in a historical frame of mind? Some argue we shouldn't do as much of it as we do. Others say we don't do it enough. Somewhere in between is probably the sweet spot. But either way, without some planning on this front, many of these historical sites that are often just something to see as you're driving past, you don't even know the history of, are going to disappear, instead of being an opportunity for somebody to pull off and learn some of the history of northern Utah. We'll talk about at least one of these efforts to preserve this history in northern Utah coming up in hour 2 of today's show, right after this, here on KVNU Logan.